Hi, Richard Wilson here. Welcome to another episode of TKs Guitar History. I'm here with the esteemed Mr. TK, Tom Keckler, luthier to the stars.
Hello.
The six-string scholar.
Yeah.
And we're going to pick up the story from last time. So basically, it was the end of your involvement with Schecter. The CFO had ran off with all the money.
Mm-hmm.
So you're out in California. This is about 1983, and so you're there at that time. And then I understand you did some consulting work for a Fender.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking maybe I would stay in California, and so I started looking around, and most of the manufacturers, Kramer and whomever, said they would be glad to have me come by and work for them, or at least consult for them.
Yeah.
Because of the Schecter days that Tom Anderson and I came up with and everything. So I stuck around for a few more months and realized that I really, 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 really missed Memphis.
So before you came back to Memphis, well, as a sidebar, I understand you actually did meet Leo Fender, even though by that time he was long gone out of the Fender company because he sold it in 1965. But on a separate occasion, I guess this was his G&L days. You actually were on his boat,
Music Man
G&L, and you were actually on Leo's boat. And
he had a nice boat in Marina del Rey, and they were having a party. And one of my friends that I met out there said, let's go to this party. And I said, okay. It was like my second or third day out there, and ended up on Leo's boat and ship or whatever.
And you had a talk with Leo about guitars?
No, the last thing I think he wanted to talk about was guitars. Well, I mean, he was so busy entertaining and that type of thing,
I gotcha.
And I introduced myself and where I came from and everything, and he was very kind and said, "Well, it's a okay business."
Yeah. Well, what an honor to have met a legend in the business. So you've met Leo. You did consultancy for Fender, and obviously on a previous occasion you'd worked with Gibson, reissuing the Les Paul. So this is some pretty amazing history.
Leo and Les Paul.
And Les Paul. Yeah.
Les was something else.
Yes. Yep.
We happened to be out, Mike Ladd and I happened to be in Kalamazoo at that time, and it was just pure fate that he came driving up in a Cadillac convertible full of girls, and
so this would have been late '60s when you were still.
He was. He obviously was there to get his due, his
royalty check.
His royalty check, yes, right, and very, very nice person, obviously, and but I couldn't believe it. My jaw was on the floor,
Wow.
But it was an interesting experience, to say the least.
He was quite a character. Well, let's fast forward then. We're talking about 1983, and then you come back to Memphis.
Yes.
And then we're going to be talking about how St. Blues came onto the scene, because I understand the Strings and Things custom trademark was acquired. And St. Blues Guitar Company was set up.
Right. Strings and Things came out with their own guitars. It was called Strings and Things Custom, and they relied on me to form the company and build most of the guitars by myself. And so we went to a trade show, and we were kind of disappointed because the people that, the retailers that go to trade shows loved our guitars, but they didn't like the idea of the Strings and Things trademark on the headstock, because that strings and things was known throughout the world, and here they are thinking about doing business with somebody that, it's kind of a contradiction.
Yeah, you're a dealer, a guitar dealer, and a manufacturer at the same time.
Right.
So tell me how it came about with St. Blues. So it was a new. Who were the people involved at that time to actually put all that together?
Well, I mean, once we realized that, hey, we need to change the name and to get these people's business. So it was Charlie Line, Chris Lovell, myself, and a couple other techs, or builders, whatever.
Right.
And so, but this shape.
Yeah.
It was the first shape that Charlie and I came up with, the shape. And then...
kind of cross between a Les Paul.
Well, exactly what it was.
Telly.
We had an old funky telly, racked up telly, stripped down on the workbench, and all of a sudden we grabbed a Junior, a Les Paul Junior, and we set it on top of the body and drew an outline of the Junior on the body and cut it out and bound it and said, this is kind of cute. And, they called it what do we call that then?
Was it the Blues
We called it the Telly Paul.
The Telly Paul, okay. Well, I'm seeing lawsuits flying at you left, right, and center.
That's right. That's right. And so, we eventually... stuck on with the trademark St. Blues.
Yeah.
So we could continue or start doing business with these dealers that wanted us to change our name, something other than St. Blues.
And you did pretty well once this got rolling, because I remember when I first met you down at the factory down on Marshall Avenue, around the corner from San, and there was
it was actually Monroe.
Oh, Monroe, okay. Bono, U2, when they were in town, I think in '88.
I think something like that.
They used it, and then we have Joe Walsh as well. There, he used it. Now, you knew Joe Walsh from before, the old Strings and Things days, and you actually used to hang out with him.
Yeah.
And John Entwistle from The Who, socially, anyway.
Yeah, Joe lived here in Memphis for
a
couple of years, I guess, in just kind of around the corner. We call it Midtown.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of partying.
Those were the days. Those were the days, and that's it's probably a lot of classified information.
Yes, I would think so. And the fact that Joe is still sucking air is just an unbelievable situation.
Well, he is actually one of my favorite guitar players all time. He's like in my top 5 favorite guitar players, and that's a twin humbucker.
We're basically a blues master. With a cutaway put into it.
With a cutaway. And so you guys did pretty well. You got the product line together. You had big users using it, and I think Hubert Sumlin he used it, and Billy Squire.
Talk about a story. But we built one particular for Billy. Yeah. That pink one.
Yes, I remember that.
It had to be pink. Okay, Billy.
Then that's a whole other story about what happened to his career after that.
Yeah.
But tell me some of the other users. Now, I know, did Albert King use them? Or
he endorsed them.
He endorsed them.
But he would probably endorse a bull elephant if you paid him.
Okay.
If you were willing to give it to him.
Gotcha. And obviously the connection there, you worked with him on his guitars anyway.
Yes. I had known him for a lot of years.
Gotcha.
And we had a up and down relationship, should we say?
Okay.
But I worked on his guitars, and whether or not he ever actually used a St. Blues blues master, right. I don't know. I know he took it home with him.
Yeah. So basically, St. Blues did pretty well. You had some at that time. There's not an awful lot of custom American guitar manufacturers, so the timing was still good. And then my understanding is you moved production to South Korea. Did they start to be made over there?
Yes. We just couldn't come up with enough funds really to go ahead and buy, a couple $100,000 worth of woodworking equipment.
Right.
So we took a trip to South
Korea.
Yeah, one of the same, I don't know. But anyway, and we found some really, really very competent builders over there.
Right.
And so we made a deal with them that they would cut out the bodies and the necks and send them to us, and we would finish them and make guitars out of them.
Right.
Full guitars. And that worked out really pretty well.
But then the exchange rate, I understand the exchange rate kind of messed up the costs, and
as usual.
Yeah, and then and then basically St. Blues went away, and then it was kind of resuscitated. Again. And it still continues.
It still continues
to
on
this
an
day.
Extremely small scale.
Small scale by a couple of the employees in Memphis.
A couple of the guys that were employees.
Yeah.
Somehow put it together, to go ahead and buy the trademark.
Gotcha.
And
so it's still
and keep doing it.
Yeah, and it's still available in Memphis as well. The St.
Yeah,
Blues.
if you were to get on the site, the St. Blues site, they have a site.
Yeah. So bringing up to full circle, I remember when I first met you, you had your repair shop down there on Monroe in the St. Blues facility.
Well, it was a place. It was like being in association with a music store, like I was with Strings and Things many years before. It was a draw for people with guitars.
Right.
And so, but I would always take them. I wouldn't work there.
Yeah.
I would take them to my shop on my property, just like I'm doing right now.
Right, and this brings it right up to the present time, and you are very much still in business as a guitar repair company, and you do all kinds of work, don't you? Setups.
Well, one of the most popular things that's going on now is people are realizing that the guitar they bought off the wall isn't really up to par.
Right, in terms of the way the frets are dressed and
all that stuff.
and the setup.
Plastic nuts and they don't tune and they don't play good, and most of them come, you could play slide on them or something. But so that's becoming a very popular thing, particularly with the social media, thing and word of mouth. So and so has a really a good set. I hate the word setup. What is the word I like most?
Detailing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You got it.
And there's a big difference between adjusting the truss rod and maybe setting the harmonics, maybe not, because there's so much to really doing the whole thing. So I came up with the detailing take on it. And so people would buy a brand new guitar and it really wasn't up to par. And so they bring it to me and I bring it up to par.
There you go. and I can attest to that. And you've even put together Telecasters for me out of box, which I'm still using, and I absolutely dig them. So this kind of wraps up TK's guitar history. We may delve back into the past for certain episodes, certain things that happened, but for right now, this brings us up to the present day. So anybody trying to get hold of you with their guitar to get it detailed, to get it dialed in, what number would they call?
Well, it'd be area code 901-489-7857.
Gotcha. And if you go to the website, it's TKs Guitar Services.com, and basically TK's on social media, Facebook and
all over the place.
Instagram's everywhere, so he's still very much in business, But yeah, so we're going to be doing some more videos. These will be more specific to, certain instruments, as regards detailing, certain repair features, and we may well throw in a bit more TK's guitar history.
As my brain will come back, yes.
As well, because there's an awful lot of history, a lot of episodes with a lot of great players. So we've got still lots more to talk about. But once again, TK, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
And until next time, guys, all you guitar players, like and subscribe and share the video. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.